over to the next game. And this is the one. Every week there's the one. The one that really makes you question whether you know anything at all about the National Football League, because the Titans had been rolling. They had won 6 in a row. So far this year, Mike, the first team ever to beat 7 playoff teams from last year in their first 10 games, but they'd lost to the Jets. That was the nagging little blemish on their resume for 2021. And now the team that everyone looks, hey, well, we got our survivor pool. Who's playing the Texans this week? Let's take whoever's playing the Texans this week. Well, the Titans, I still am dumbfounded that the Texans, who hadn't won since week 1, were able to go into Nashville and beat a Titans team that had been rolling and had captured that vibe of just win every week, focus on the opponent and win every week.
So, and it's a team that obviously we keep saying without Derrick Henry. Well, they've had a couple of games without Derrick Henry, and they've won games without Derrick Henry. They're not going to be as good a running game without Derrick Henry. We know that. We know they're going to have to adjust. We know they weren't this prolific offense anywhere. Occasionally they were, because you had that hammer of Derrick Henry, especially in the fourth quarter, on how he could roll it up on you and you could keep possession of the ball. But that's not going to happen right now, so they have to live more off the passing game. But to me, in this one, this is a Houston Texans, or have been a bad football team. And for the Tennessee Titans, we'll sit there and talk about the offensive side of the ball, but their defense, Mike, has really stepped up. And I know 22 points, isn't awful to give up, but it can be bad when you're playing the Texans. You can't give up that many points to the Texans. You just can't if your defense is playing extremely well, and you have to cover a bit for your offense. Even though the offense still can score, you're missing a huge component. You have to cover for them a bit. So, Vrabel as a defensive coach, as we sat there and watched that game and the rain is just pouring down on his head, going, what the hell is going on? I look at the defensive side of the ball for them and saying, all right, we're playing a team that we should be able to hammer, and we need to hold them to less than the amount of points obviously we gave you. Your offense should score more. I get it. They need to score more, obviously, than 13 points. So people may be saying, why are you putting this on the defense? The offense didn't score. This defense has been playing really, really well. And I didn't expect Houston to be able to put up the numbers that they put up scoring in this game.
I love this. This is basically a GIF. Mike Vrabel, the miserable look. And here's a conspiracy theory for you. Look at the guy behind him in the slicker. I wonder if Bill Belichick decided on his Sunday off to sneak in and work a chain just to get a close look at the Titans. Doesn't it look like Belichick's back there peering over his shoulder? Because you know what, Mike? He gets Vrabel next week. The Patriots get the Titans in New England. And I said this last night, and both Tony Dungy and Drew Brees disagreed with me, but I can't help but think that having that Patriots game on Thursday night and seeing what the Patriots are now and knowing that the Titans have the Patriots next, I can't help but think that maybe the Titans look past the Texans a little bit and peeked ahead, knowing they got this showdown in Foxborough coming up 6 days from now.
Yeah, listen, it's possible. You're human. So Tannehill throws what? I'm sitting here and I'm sure people are going, my God, why are you on the defense? Tannehill throws 4 interceptions. You only give up 190 yards of total offense. Maybe I'm being too hard on the defense, but I remember as a defensive player, when your back gets against the wall, you got to step up and get it done. They're the better side of the ball right now for Tennessee once Derrick Henry left the field and isn't going to be back. So maybe my expectations can be too high on a defense when they got put in a hole at times because of the interceptions, and they did hold Houston to more field goals and touchdowns. I get it. So maybe I'm being overly hard on the defense, and you have to look more at the offensive side of the ball, especially with the turnovers. It just goes to show you again that how turnovers can kill you. And some of the throws Tannehill was making to go to that side of the ball were somewhat inexplicable interceptions. But I guess I just expected the way that defense had been playing to step up and say, okay, you put us in a hole, we're going to get us out of this hole. Really, I can't sit here and say it's one side of the fault or one side of the ball over the other at fault. Certainly the offense was anemic here with the turnovers, and the defense did hold Houston to under 200 total yards. But there's just an expectation when you're playing as well as you are, even if some things are going bad on one side of the ball, that you can pick it up on the other side of the ball.
Nothing against Ryan Tannehill, but I'm glad he had a career-high 4 interceptions with 3 in the fourth quarter. I'm glad that happened because now I can quit trying to do the mental gymnastics over whether or not if the Titans get the 1 seed in the AFC, he somehow is the league MVP. I can stop that. That's over. That's done. You're disqualified. 4 interceptions against the Texans. You're disqualified from consideration for NFL MVP. And you know what's going to happen now, Mike? Yeah. Everybody's going to assume the Titans are going to go to New England and lose. Everybody's going to pick the Patriots to win, and the Titans are going to go to New England and they're going to win. And we're going to be having this conversation next Monday. What in the hell has gotten into the Titans where they can beat all these good teams, but they can't figure out how to beat the worst teams in the NFL?
Listen, it is something that's inexplicable, but it also is something that says these are the best football players in the world. And at any time they can step up and have a game. We've seen it. You know, that's why you don't get a lot of no-win teams. You certainly get some few-win teams. There's some teams that are just very bad, as others are very good, but they're still pros. And each Sunday, you never know. They can step up. And the one thing that can kill you is turnovers. My God, in the first game or early games yesterday, how many first quarter interceptions were going on all over the league? And then missed field goals everywhere. So you never know. You know, you turn the ball over too much and you can't overcome it. Tennessee, you miss field goals, and that's going to cost you games as well in other games. So that's why they say it's the oldest cliche in the book. That's why they play the games. But it is, because you don't know what's going to happen. And the really great teams, when things start rolling bad against them, they can find a way and hit the brakes and come back the other way, come back rolling the other way and try and pull it out. And Tennessee wasn't able to do that yesterday.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.